Hey guys, welcome back to another video in the enchanted forest. Uh, Hopefully it's not enchanted. Please don't enchant me while I'm here. But welcome back. I'd like to offer a different perspective on twin flames today. Someone specifically even messaged me asking me to make a video more pertaining to twin flames, what I think of it, and the idea I've been pondering more and more ever since my scripted relationships video, which I still feel the same in those regards, right? That these relationships are manipulated. They are, whether it's entity involvement, like we've seen in that book Love Bite, or it's karmically fated. Fate is involved, which is still entity involved, because the rulers of fate are these lords of karma, right? They call them lord. That's why they're even known as the lords of the houses. So astrologically, these people are destined to show up in your life for the purpose of potentially chaos and derailment from the true purpose here, which is potentially leaving this matrix, right? So then why are twin flames, who are supposed to help you leave this matrix, why is that idea actually preventing you from leaving it? Well, from the beginning, that we may have existed here, from that we can recount in our lives at least, this idea of saving the damsel in distress, of finding the one true love, the one for you, is promoted through all our cartoons or Disney movies, for kids at a young age, so that they can grow up with that programming. Specifically girls, but even more, femininely inclined boys or men, or even men in general, that say, hey, there's got to be someone for me, if they haven't been already entrapped in that player phenomena or player characteristic, in which they just don't care and will take as many as possible. So that program is then caused for us, is causing us to look outwards, right, in this 3D illusion, and say, hey, the one for me, whether it's spiritual or not, or whether we are spiritual or not at the time, my one true love is going to be in that woman or in that man. Okay, now when we get a little bit more spiritual, then the new age twists that and says, oh yeah, they're your spiritual savior. And I fell into this myself. You don't want to be with soulmates or anything less than your twin flame, because they are the epitome of spiritual growth. And then when you face them and when you conquer yourself in them, that means that you have grown spiritually and you have balanced, and therefore you will now ascend. And then especially what is promoted is the sexual union with that significant other, because it's not enough just to face them, you have to have sex with them. So that will then catapult your energy, and you too will use that sexual energy to save the world, or to basically bring higher vibrations everywhere. That's really what I thought when I first embarked on that idea and on that journey. But let me tell you a different story. So actually, we'll go with this story first and then the second story. The first story that really convinced me of this idea that my true love could be potentially existing in the 3D realm is the story of Zeus. Now, a lot of these Greek figures from Greek mythology, which was then turned into Roman mythology, and the Greeks got it from the Egyptians, and all these figures, all these deities, all these gods that they worshipped, they are a reflection of the creator archons, whether positive and negative, that supplied humanity, that gave us these bodies, not just the 3D body, but the higher ones, the etheric, astral as well. And they were the ones that are still manipulating humanity through other various entities, which there's more to that, but just just as a preface, Zeus is more than likely some kind of archon, potentially even the chief archon, if not second in command to Kronos or whatever, Yaldabaoth or whatever. But it is said that Zeus was the one that united with Gaia, or even Uranus with Gaia, but Uranus was considered a spirit, but Zeus and Gaia to create the bodies. So Zeus created our human bodies, at least, potentially, which was Adam. Adam was both man and woman at the time, energetically and physically. If he had, no, I'm sorry, it was simply energetically because he didn't have his physical body at the time. So what Zeus did, fearing the power of Adam, the man, woman, he split them. He split Adam, right? He split the atom. And what happened is we have now the woman, Eve, the I am presence, and Adam, the divine spark. He took the woman Eve, the I am presence, the higher self of Adam. It's considered a higher self because he left Eve in his world, the mental plane, the higher mental plane potentially, and stuck her there, while he took Adam and plunged him to the bottom depths of this realm, which is the material realm, and soon to be Tartarus, which is what they're looking to do. Okay, so it wasn't in the physical that he was split. It was energetically, and I interpreted that story at first like, oh, the physical, oh, that's why twin flames are so powerful, because if they get together, they literally will break this matrix because they're here together in the physical. And a lot of that is promoted in New Age. Oh, there were 144,000 souls and they came down, but they were split. And so, you had 70,000 men, 70,000 women, and they're destined to find each other or something of that nature. But 144,000 refers to the chakras. Okay, it's kind of like the higher and lower self of the chakras, or the 144,000 that they're referring to in the Bible, I believe, or at least that's one example. Whereas the twin flame, it's not two people, because this whole realm, the spiritual beings, right, the divine sparks, are literally just Adam, the male version, right? And then we have the souls, the plain souls that aren't full of the divine spark, but they still have some sort of cognition, they were created in the ether, right? And then we have the NPCs, which were created here, and they're a mimicking of both. So really, when two, seemingly charged souls will get together, or that recognize each other, it's just Adam recognizing itself with that divine spark. Like, oh, you can see this matrix. You think deeply like me. Oh, we are similar. We have the same purpose to leave this place and reunite with our true twin flame, Eve, who was in the heavens. And even when I got into this twin flame concept, I had this thought like, oh wait, well, source is really our true twin flame if we think about it. That it's source that we really want to be united with. And I kind of just deflected that and said, well, source is in this person too, so I'm therefore uniting with myself, with my source energy through this person, right? Basically, we're all gay down here because of it's all Adam, right? And at first I thought the divine spark was maybe all Sophia, but Sophia more than likely represents the Eve, right? The Adam and the Eve, the Christ and then Sophia. And we are potentially looking to reunite with our Sophia because the Christ seed was implanted within us and was activated also by Christ coming down here. In a sense, he paid our bond to exit this karmic prison. So then, how is it a trap? Well, it's a trap because this idea is keeping you chasing what you may think is your twin flame, or even engaging in certain dynamics in which you're not chasing anymore and you feel balanced, and it's preventing you from saying, oh, it's the higher self that I'm looking to unite with, because once you embody that higher self, you become Christ-like, essentially. You then achieve that hierogamic unit within, and your higher self is the one doing the walking and the talking, not the lower form ego. The divine spark is the one that questions, is the one that seeks, is the one that yearns for Eve, right? Is the one that is saying, no, there has to be something else, there must be more, right? And that's how you can tell a true soulful, not soulful, but sparked being, because they have discernment, they have the ability to critically think and question. They don't just accept things. We're all natural rebels because we question. And even this idea of twin flame, what is a flame? It starts with a spark, right? But the flame is actually defined as a lower form of light, or a false light, or an astral light. The flame is the 3D false version of that light, right? Prometheus stole the flame. He took the false light and gave it to humans, because he didn't have the real light. All he had was a reflection of it. It's a false light. It's just a reflection. It's not the true one, right? And when you think about that, twin flame is getting you to chase a reflection. It's a false twin flame in a sense, but that's redundant because it's like saying false flame. The essence of twin flame is false, right? And the spark is really looking for the presence, right? That is what it's looking to reunite with. And even though we contain the masculine and feminine within us, it also contains the masculine and feminine within itself, potentially. But it's still looking to reunite with that energetic body that it was split from, right? Similar to what potentially the Gnostics were talking about in the fall of Sophia, right? But there's probably a bigger distinction there, so I'm more likely missing some points there. So in that regard, then how can we have such relationships in which these people seem so similar, they seem so connected, they may even have the same core energetic frequencies, like our friend Jen, who was on this channel, talks about, and she says she sees, or others that say they can tell two beings of the same frequency, or they have the same chakras or things like that. Well, in my opinion, it's those divine sparks that are recognizing each other, that may be less or more diluted, right? So these could be more similarly in their frequency, and the point that they weren't as diluted. Yet that runner-chaser dynamic can still engage in what we know as karmic relationships, right? And I've chased plenty of girls that were my twin flames and they ran away. Does that mean they were my twin flames? No. It just means that runner-chaser dynamic is found in men, the gender, between the genders of man, woman, or woman, man, whoever's doing the chasing. It's an energetic thing, right? It's not necessarily, oh, it's twin flame. That happens in many relationships. And what the twin flame really potentially is just, a more intense or spiritual version of the karmic, right? The karmic relationship can be a chaotic 3D form, whereas a twin flame is a chaotic spiritual form, if that makes sense. Spiritual, in which the person comes together with this karmic and they feel all this resistance, kind of an imbalance that may have been created in a previous life, right? And these beings that run fate, they fated these two back together to create more chaos. And some choose to actually heal together. Some choose to say, okay, let's forgive all that, all these emotions, let's bring them all up, whether they realize it's karmic or not. Let's bring them all to the surface and let's actually unionize and balance our frequency together, so that now our karma is alleviated, right? Because that's what they use against you. But you don't necessarily have to engage in that. You can just choose to forgive that person and not necessarily have to balance all that chaos and, in a sense, balance them with you, right? Because that's another trap. that you can fall into, like, oh, that's my twin flame, you know, I have to save her or him and make them like me, spiritual. But if they say, no, I don't want to do all that, then you're stuck. You're stuck trying to drag someone along with you, and all you're doing is hurting yourself, right? So, you know, I could very well be wrong. There could be that existence of twin flames, but this is a different perspective, because it doesn't make sense. How could Adam's twin flame be Adam? And Eve doesn't exist down here. We're just Adam, whether we're in man or woman. It's the divine spark. But the divine spark is source, basically recognizing itself, even though it's essentially a fragment of source that was split from Eve, right? So really, I guess my conclusion for this video and my point is that we should not be looking outside of ourselves. We should be looking to unionize that higher self body, to embody that fully, and to achieve that union with Eve by achieving it within ourselves. So I'm not exactly sure how to do that yet. Okay, that's obviously I don't have my higher self embodied yet, but you know, we're getting closer and closer, and that's our purpose, and that's one of our ways out of here, if we are to fully take this knowledge with us to the other side and not be deceived anymore into reincarnating, right? Because they'll get you. They'll say, oh, you know, your twin flame's waiting for you down there. You didn't take her with you. Or they'll use all your beliefs against you, no matter what it is. And, you know, tell your brother, your mother, your father, whatever, just to get you back down here. Your mission, you have a mission. You got to get people to 5D. 5D is just another realm of the Matrix. They're in 5D themselves, right? These beings. Yeah, that's enough. Hope I made my point regarding what I think about twin flames. Think about it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.